how bad the hit will be. The International Monetary Fund thinks very bad. It's warning Australia's economy will shrink by nearly 7% this year. For his take, I spoke to Australia's former Prime Minister, Kevin Rudd. He's also just been appointed to an external advisory group to the IMF. Mr. Rudd, thank you for being with us. We can talk about the numbers, the 3% fall in global growth predicted for the next year, the almost 7% predicted drop in growth for Australia. But what many people want to know who are watching at home is to go behind the numbers and what is that going to mean for what life is going to be like in Australia over the next few years?
I think the realistic assumption, Lee, is that even in the presence of government stimulus, and even in the presence of very relaxed monetary policy settings, we're going to look at some reduction in Australia's real standard of living over the next couple of years. When you look at the fact that about 40% of Australia's gross domestic product comes from the traded sector of our economy, exports have been blown to bits, not just for our country, but around the world. So the honest answer is we need to accustom ourselves to the idea that we're not going to be as prosperous as we were before until this virus is behind us.
If you were the Australian Prime Minister at the moment, what would you be looking to for the medium to long term? What would be the things most on your radar of concern?
For me, the big thing of concern to me is the real danger right now, particularly given the nature of the Trump presidency and nationalism and protectionism normalised around the world in the last several years, would be an outbreak of protectionism, so that the track to recovery is in fact pushed back even further as national governments dig in to protect their so-called strategic industries from international competition. If we know our economic history well, Lee, that's what turned the events of the early 1930s into a full-blown depression. So that, frankly, would be near to the top for me. And that means working actively as hard as you can through the G20 to get a moratorium on further protectionist measures. That's what we did in 2008-09.
The US President Donald Trump has withdrawn US support from the World Health Organization over its handling of coronavirus. Do you have any concerns about the WHO?
Yes, I do. But I think in any rational analysis of what's gone wrong in terms of how did this virus come about, I think there are three basic factors. One is a failure of the Chinese system domestically to report early enough. The systems they put in place after SARS did not work. They were politically interfered with at the provincial level. Two, the notifications and powers available to the WHO, frankly, were not up to the task. But three, to be fair to the WHO, its warnings back in January of the public health impact beyond China were significant. And by and large, national governments around the world, including the Australian government, but not only them, were very slow in coming to the table. So I think this responsibility needs to be shared.
What's your view on China reopening its wet markets?
Well, frankly, it's completely unacceptable if that decision was to be taken, because there have been copious warnings each time we've had an outbreak of these so-called zoonotic diseases, giving rise to animal-to-human transfer, that wet markets represent the perfect breeding ground. That is why, Lee, we need a much more empowered World Health Organization. Trump's decision to gut the WHO through funding decisions takes us in exactly the reverse direction. You need a more powerful and intrusive World Health Organization, which under international treaty law is the only international body with the power to actually issue global health emergencies arising from pandemics. So China's action in this respect, if that in fact turns out to be the case, would be the first retrograde step.
You mentioned before that Australia was a little slow to act. Beyond that, how do you rate the performance of Australia's leaders so far in managing this crisis?
Look, each crisis is different, and I can't say this is a replication of 2008-09. There are some similarities and obviously profound differences in terms of the public health dimension. But on public health, as I said, they were slow to act. On the economic measures, together with other people, I was in the Australian media, frankly, in February, saying we were ill-prepared to deal with the economic consequences of this. And therefore, I have been critical of the slowness to act in terms of those stimulatory measures, as the Morrison government had to undertake its own political somersaults to get over its stimulus, debt, deficit, political overhang from a decade ago. But my biggest criticism, Lee, is simply sequencing, and that is the fact that the lockdown of the economy was announced prior to, by a significant number of days, the announcement of the wage subsidy, which meant that employers let hundreds of thousands of people go into unemployment, in my judgment, unnecessarily.
Kevin Rudd, thanks for your time this evening.
It's good to be with you.
For the past couple of weeks, we've been running messages from children to their grandparents. Here's the final set.
Hi, Grandpa. We miss you lots.
We really miss having you over.
We miss chatting with you at the table.
Hope to see you soon.
Bye.
Hi, Nana. We miss you very much. Hope you have a lovely day.
Hi, Grandma, Uncle, hi, Nan and Dad.
Hi, Dom and Jill. I miss you. I love you in the TV station. I would like to say hello to our Granny and Pa and our Godji and Joel because we can't see them now because of the coronavirus. We love you. Hello, Nana and Pa. Hello, Oma and Opa. We all miss you. Love you, Grandma. Love you, Granddad. Love you, Sipa. Love you, Hammy.
Big shout out to Susie and Oompa in Orange and Mama and Papa in Canberra.
Hello, Nana and Granddad.
What should they remember to do? Remember to
Wash their hands. Hi, Grandma and Granddad. I really miss you and your hugs.
Hi, Granny and Grandpapa. I really miss you, but this is for your own good.
And I miss you, Nana and Papi. Sending all our love. We hope you're staying safe.
I really miss you and I hope we get to see each other soon.
We miss our grandparents.
This is a message for our grandfather, Kevin O'Hagan.
We miss seeing you every day.
We love you very much.
And I want to say hi to my grandma Liz and to my grandpa John because they're in isolation.
Hi, we miss you. Hope we can make more Anzac visits soon.
I love you and... What did it else say?
who's the message for?
Grandma and Grandpa. Hello, Nana and Grandma and Papa. I love you. Nolly and Graham and Nana and Pop.
Would you like to blow them a big kiss?
Ma.
Hi to my two grandmas, Gran-Nan and Linny, and sorry that we can't come and visit you right now.
Hello, Nanny and Grandpa. Hello, Nanny and Papa.
We wish to give you a cuddle. Hello, I'm Bonty and I'm 3.
We miss you, Nana and Pa.
And we live in movie farms and we miss Grandma and Pa. We're going to the shops and because of the coronavirus it's still fancy, but at least it still protects your nose.
Today it's my birthday and I'm turning 9 years old. And then the day after is my granny's birthday and she's turning 82. I hope you have a really nice birthday, Granny, and I really want to be with you, but I can't.
Hello, Nana and Pa. We miss you.
We miss you so much and we hope to come up to the farm soon to see you.
Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Nana.
Nana who?
None of your business. I can't wait to show you why my bike is out turning wheels. I miss my grandparents so much. I wish they could see this.
Big wave.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. I miss you.
Thanks to everyone who sent in a video. There were so many that we couldn't run them all. It's time though to hear from grandparents. If you have a message for your family that you'd like to share, send them to us at 7.30@abc.net.au. Remember, please keep them horizontal or landscape. That's the program for tonight. Thanks for your company. Good night.